So for our first cinema camera in this year's roundup, we're looking at, you guessed it, Fujifilm's GFX ETERNA. This is really exciting to see. I actually wasn't sure if they'd even have a demo model here this year, because they've kind of been trickling out information, but here it is, and it does kind of work. There is a screen on there, it's on, you can see the image. This is really something else because it's based largely around the technology that was in the GFX 100 Mark II. And that starts with the sensor, but it builds on that in so many ways. This is a traditional cinema camera in its layout. The button layout, the menus are on not only the operator side, but also on the dummy side, and that's really unique here. Now, there's still a little scant on the details. They've been trickling them out over the last few months, but today they're announcing 5 new features, one of which happens to be the battery solution. I really like this. This is an internal battery that allows you to hot swap the V-mount battery on the back, but it's not an internal fixed battery. It's actually its own swappable NPW235 battery, the same one that's used in the GFX 100 itself. So you can use that battery to buffer the camera power and give you hot swapping ability. The camera will never drop below 100%, you can just keep shooting. They also announced the media today. This is not really too surprising. Also, borrowing from the GFX 100 Mark II, you have the dual card slot solution of CF Express Type B and SDXC. So you have plenty of speed options for those high data rates that this camera can shoot. Another huge feature on a cinema camera, this is very rare, is internal electronic ND filters. So there's a dial right here under the lens mount, and that takes you starting at 0.6 all the way to 2.1, covering a range of 2 to 7 stops. So that's great for giving you a lot of versatility in your exposure control. Now, the next new feature they announced today was the hot shoe on the top, which can provide audio recording from Tascam's XLR recorder. So you can have that come straight in, record audio directly to the camera. Not too common on cinema cameras, but it's nice to see here. And the last new feature they announced today, also borrowing from the GFX 100 Mark II, but honestly part of a wider industry trend, is support for Frame I/O upload. So that provides instant access to cloud storage and processing of your dailies right from the camera straight up to the cloud, instant access for your editors. Now you can see they've got it rigged out here. They got this lovely custom wooden camera solution. I love it. It's really fun to see that it's already made, which means that I guess the camera's, getting there. But no, we don't know when it's coming out yet, so please don't ask us. Anyway, I hope we learn more soon. Let's move on to the next camera in our roundup. So for our next stop on the Cinema Camera Roundup, we have the Pyxis 12K. This is kind of a no-brainer here. The Pyxis 6K debuted last year, and it's a modular camera design. The box camera design has really become a big thing in the industry lately because it's so flexible. It's literally in the name, modular. It's able to go from small scale to large scale depending on your needs. It is fully operational as it is, and largely compared to the 6K model, this 12K model is very similar. The LCD touchscreen workflow is the same, you have the same media options, and I believe the mount options are the same here with L mount, EF, and PL mount available. But what's different with this year's model is the inclusion of the 12K sensor derived from the Ursa Cine 12K LF. And that's a very big deal here because that sensor is a completely unique design that allows for something that pretty much no other camera other than that Ursa can do. And that is a lossless scaling of raw output, meaning that you can record 12K, 9K, 8K, or 4K, all in RAW, all with the full width readout of the sensor. And that's pretty wild. With most of their cameras, you don't have this flexibility. What you have to do is either shoot RAW at the maximum resolution or debayer the image and then downscale it, which of course makes you lose RAW. So if you want to keep RAW at the lower resolutions, you normally have to just crop it, and who wants to really do that, right? You've got a beautiful full frame sensor here. By the way, it can shoot 3x2 open gate mode as well, all the way up to 40 FPS, which is pretty remarkable. So that whole thing is going to open the door for productions to not only take advantage of that sensor, but do so in a modular package and save on data space if they need to. They don't have to shoot 12K, it's there, but they can still shoot gorgeous raw imagery at 4 or 8 or 9K. The last camera in our roundup is an extension of a camera. This is the Venice Extension System Mini. And now, those of you who are involved in the high-end cinema production out there probably know what the Rialto and the Rialto 2 were. Those were sort of externalizations of the Venice and Venice 2 cameras that allowed you to get the sensor into its own external block and feed the signal back out to the main camera body. This takes that idea even further. It's the most miniaturized version it can be. It has its own dedicated Venice 2 sensor already built inside. Previous Rialto systems required you to take the sensor out of the camera and put it into one of those external systems. This has its own dedicated sensor. You still do need to take the sensor out only because the cable does need to feed back into the body, but this is its own contained unit. Now what that means is that they've changed a few things to make it as small as it is. For example, there's no SDI feed on the back, it's just the cable. That means you have to do external monitoring from other means, so out from the camera. Now also with the cable, by default it comes a little bit longer than the original. This is 15 feet. It optionally can go up to 40 feet. And on the front side, we have an E-mount, although they do sell a PL to E-mount adapter, so you can bolt that right to the front and use cinema glass. Now the other big change here in the quest for smallness is that they've removed the internal ND system, so there are no more internal ND filters. Instead, what you have is a tray system, so these are optical filters that can come right out and go in standard stop increments. So, slide it right back in. There is a clear filter too, by the way, because it is necessary for the optical path, and it goes right in like that. So you can really mobilize the Venice 2's power with this. If you look behind me, there's a kit right here, for example, that has a very simple rig attached. You have very small profile cage around this with a handle on the top, double grips on the sides. You don't have to worry about anything but the one cable back here, and you can get cinema lenses, of course, with the PL mount adapter. And this is as small as it gets. This is an 8.6K sensor. Remember, it's the same one in the Venice 2 main body. Now you can have two operators run and gun. One could be up to 40 feet away, while the other goes into, let's say, a more action-packed, possibly even dangerous situation. Now over here we have some other examples of it. Here's another cage version, but right here, this is pretty cool. This is a stereoscopic demo. So because the units are so small, you can actually get the lenses to be about as close as human eyes are. So this is really good to eliminate that interocular distance between traditional 3D camera systems. You no longer have to tilt the cameras to get that convergence in place. Look how small it is. It's beautiful. So that is it for our cinema camera roundup at NAB 2025. A lot of these cameras haven't even been fielded yet, so I can't wait to see them put into production. Let us know what your dream camera is from this year in the comments below. My name is Doug with B&H, and I'll see you next year.